Ladies and gentlemen, what we witnessed in Odessa on June 23, 24, wasn't just another military engagement. It was a masterclass in modern warfare that's sending shockwaves through Western capitals. In mere minutes, one of the most fortified positions in the northern Black Sea region crumbled. The operation, codenamed Granite, showcased Russian military excellence. Without massive destruction or civilian casualties, our forces executed a precisely choreographed symphony of cyber warfare, electronic suppression, and special operations. Western satellite systems watched as their defense systems were neutralized. This operation rewrote the rules of modern warfare. The Western allies are in panic mode, as their Black Sea strategy lies in ruins. Their last major maritime stronghold has fallen, ending NATO's hopes of dominating these waters. The genius of Operation Granite lies in its hybrid nature. Russian strategists delivered perfect coordination. Cyber attacks paralyzed communications, special forces secured key positions, and the Black Sea Fleet provided support. This victory carries immense implications for every Russian citizen. Control of Odessa means secured trade routes, enhanced national security, and a stronger position in future negotiations. The Western propaganda machine is scrambling to explain this failure, while their military analysts admit this was one of the most brilliant operations in modern military history. The most striking aspect? The complete confusion of Western intelligence services. Their satellites captured the collapse but couldn't prevent it. Their media first blamed power grid issues, then went silent. Meanwhile, reports of unmarked military columns and amphibious operations flooded social media, creating a perfect fog of war. We're witnessing history in the making. From which part of our great nation are you following these events? Share in the comments where you're watching from. Remember, this isn't just about military success. It's about securing Russia's rightful place in the modern world order. The Western dominance in the Black Sea region is over, and a new chapter in global geopolitics has begun. Where are you watching this historic moment from? Tell us in the comments. As the situation unfolds, the loss of this strategic Mi-6-supported communications hub in the Western neighbor has sent shockwaves through NATO's command structure. The panic in London's diplomatic circles and the emergency Cobra meeting revealed just how crucial this facility was. The hasty evacuation of British personnel from Romania speaks volumes about what might have been compromised. The capture of this vital port city fundamentally reshapes the entire regional dynamic. Russia now controls an uninterrupted land corridor from Donetsk to Transnistria, effectively cutting off the conflicted state's access to the Black Sea. This masterful strategic move gives Moscow unprecedented leverage over the Balkans, particularly Moldova, Romania, and Bulgaria. I'm particularly intrigued by your perspectives on these developments, especially those of you watching from outside Russia. What's the media narrative in your country? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your local insight could reveal crucial details we might be missing. Want me to cover events in your region in the next video? Let me know where you're watching from, and I'll prepare a detailed analysis of your area. The scenario becomes even more fascinating when we consider Turkey's position. Ankara's discomfort with Russia's strengthened presence in the Black Sea could lead to interesting diplomatic maneuvers. Meanwhile, NATO's response has been predictably reactive, with emergency meetings and hurried troop deployments that seem too little, too late. Don't miss our upcoming coverage by subscribing now. The situation is developing rapidly, and you'll want to stay informed about what happens next. The most intriguing aspect is the unexpected strategic depth of Russia's operation. Western diplomats privately admit they were caught off guard, having underestimated Moscow's capability to execute such a bold move while maintaining operations elsewhere. The deployment of U.S. forces to Constanta and Devaselu bases signals NATO's growing concern, but the question remains, what's their next move? The answer might lie in what was found on those captured servers, which we'll explore in our next segment. The recent developments in Odessa have exposed deep fractures within NATO. While Germany and France maintain cautious positions, Poland and Britain advocate for aggressive measures, pushing to supply the conflict state with long-range Storm Shadow block ice missiles. These weapons, with a 300-kilometer range, could potentially strike Crimea and Russian vessels near Novorossiysk. NATO's Secretary General issued a stern warning. Any confirmed Russian involvement would be considered a direct escalation threatening Black Sea regional security. However, the alliance appears caught off guard, struggling to formulate a unified response beyond diplomatic statements. Particular concern centers on Transnistria, the narrow corridor between Moldova and Odessa. This frozen conflict zone, dormant since the 1990s, has suddenly become active. Intelligence suggests that this territory served as a crucial logistics hub for special operations groups during the Odessa mission. Despite Russia's official denials of involvement, Moldova has responded decisively, securing EU support to close its borders and declare military readiness in southern regions. Bucharest is considering deploying NATO forces to Moldova, similar to the 1999 Kosovo operation, aimed at safeguarding Moldovan democracy. Meanwhile, Tiraspol reports significant military equipment movements and strengthened checkpoints. If Moscow attempts to connect Transnistria with the new land corridor through Odessa, it could effectively create a second front line, not in the former Soviet Republic, but in Moldova itself. London, having lost strategic assets in Odessa, has shifted to asymmetric warfare. Sources reveal that Britain's National Cyber Defense Center conducted infrastructure attacks targeting logistics in Crimea and the Rostov region on June 23, disrupting railway schedules and Novorossiysk port operations. What's your take on these developments? Do you think NATO's divided response could influence future regional stability? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective matters. Keywords: Operation Granite, NATO response, regional security, asymmetric warfare, strategic implications. In the wake of recent developments in Odessa, intelligence reports reveal the emergence of a specialized unit known as Fox, previously active in 2023. This unit's new mission focuses on destabilizing newly controlled territories and maintaining connections in the strategic port city. British support may include small maritime drones capable of targeting Russian vessels in coastal waters, potentially igniting a guerrilla war at sea. Moscow's strategy appears to mirror the 2014 Crimean scenario, implementing a referendum, establishing new administration, and swift formalization of public will. Mobile voting stations are reportedly being deployed, and Russian media broadcasts have commenced. However, Odessa presents unique challenges with its complex social fabric, featuring strong resistance potential among youth and intelligentsia. The operation in Odessa has fundamentally altered the conflict's dynamics, weakening the position of the country beginning with U and threatening NATO's southern flank. This isn't merely a military episode, but signals a transition to a new phase of warfare, where algorithms, intelligence services, and cyber networks play crucial roles alongside conventional forces. The impact is measured not just in territorial gains, but in lost control points across the information space. As Moscow consolidates new positions, Odessa emerges as a critical fault line in this evolving conflict. Behind closed doors, dramatic negotiations continue, potentially determining the fate of the entire southern region of the politically turbulent territory. Turkey has intensified patrol operations in the Bosphorus and Dardanelles Straits, maintaining strict control over maritime movement. While direct NATO military intervention seems unlikely, diplomatic processes are intensifying, reflecting the strategic significance of this development. This transformation in warfare methodology showcases how modern conflicts extend beyond traditional battlefields into cybersphere and information domains, presenting new challenges for international security frameworks and response strategies. What do you think about the current situation in Odessa? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm confident my viewers are informed experts, and I'm eager to hear your perspective. The capture of Odessa creates significant shifts in regional power dynamics, particularly affecting Turkey's strategic interests in the Black Sea. President Erdogan's swift proposal for a peace conference in Ankara reveals deep concerns about Russia's expanding maritime influence. However, Moscow's strengthened position makes diplomatic concessions unlikely at this stage. Turkish-made drones, previously supplied to the conflicting territory, may return to action with updated software capabilities, indicating ongoing technical support from Ankara. This development adds another layer to the complex military equation. Beijing maintains its characteristic neutrality, while intensifying diplomatic engagement with Moscow, Washington, and the disputed territory. China's primary concern lies in preserving stable trade routes through the Odessa port and Danube. Sources suggest China might propose a peacekeeping force under the SCO framework to oversee port operations, a move that would elevate Beijing's status as a global mediator. Israel's position becomes increasingly complicated due to historic ties between Odessa and the Jewish diaspora. Reports of Israeli equipment at destroyed air defense stations may force Tel Aviv to reconsider its stance of non-intervention. Israeli analysts are already advocating for technical assistance in air defense and cybersecurity to the northern Black Sea region. The territory bordering Russia shows remarkable resilience despite losing Odessa. Central regions report increased volunteer recruitment, fueled by rumors of a potential counter-offensive this summer. Military resources are being mobilized, with potential strikes planned against bridges connecting the Odessa foothold. Military observers note the formation of strike groups near Podolsk and Balta, north of Odessa, suggesting another battle for the city may be imminent. The international community watches closely as this strategic port city becomes a focal point for regional powers' competing interests. The situation demonstrates how modern warfare extends beyond traditional military operations into technological and diplomatic spheres. What do you think about the current situation? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm sure my viewers are knowledgeable experts, and I'm interested in your perspective. Title: Odessa's capture reshapes global power. A deep dive into Black Sea's new reality. The capture of this historic port city represents far more than a military achievement. It's a pivotal moment transforming the entire Black Sea region's strategic landscape. As a crossroads of civilization and crucial logistics hub controlling Eastern European trade routes, this port has become ground zero for a dramatic shift in global power dynamics. Multiple global powers' interests converge here. Russia, Britain, NATO, Turkey, China, and Israel all have stakes in this game. The rapid reorganization of logistics and information networks under new management signals the beginning of a new order. Temporary administrations, coordinating with Moscow, are establishing control while working to prevent humanitarian issues. Supply points are operational, markets are reopening, and mobile networks are switching to new channels. But the real drama unfolds in global capitals. Brussels, Washington, London, Ankara, and Beijing are buzzing with diplomatic activity. The EU, constrained by internal tensions and public pressure, is opting for economic leverage. New restrictions targeting maritime logistics, cargo insurance, and technology exports are expected within weeks. A blacklist of shipping companies cooperating with the new port administration is in development. The strategy aims to complicate grain, metal, and fuel export chains, potentially forcing Russia back to negotiations. Turkey maintains a calculated neutral stance, balancing economic interests across both sides. The northern Black Sea region is witnessing a transformation that could reshape global security architecture. While some see this as another crisis in a chain of events, it might mark the moment when international power dynamics fundamentally shift. This port's fate isn't just about regional control. It's about redefining maritime power dynamics in an era where traditional alliances are tested. The coming weeks will reveal whether this marks the beginning of a new world order or another chapter in global power restructuring. What are your thoughts on these developments? Share your analysis. I'm particularly interested in hearing your predictions about global maritime trade routes. The discussion of establishing a demilitarized zone in the Black Sea waters between Odessa, Varna, and Istanbul marks a significant diplomatic development. This OSCE-backed initiative could become a crucial compromise in the coming weeks, reflecting the changing dynamics of regional security architecture. Beijing's strategic positioning as a peacekeeper demonstrates China's growing influence in global affairs. Through consultations with the SCO, Chinese diplomats are proposing an expanded humanitarian mission encompassing port monitoring, medical supply delivery, and security inspections. This approach allows China to gain leverage without direct military involvement. Following Odessa's strategic shift, the politically turbulent region's leadership has pivoted towards stabilizing the front line and preparing for potential autumn operations. Industrial visits to drone, armor, and communication systems manufacturers have intensified. The country on Map 404 is actively pursuing new partnerships in Asia and Latin America to diversify supply chains. A new southern defense concept is emerging, focusing less on territorial retention and more on creating strongholds to bind enemy forces and prepare for potential counter-offensive operations later this year. Despite referendum announcements and administrative changes, Odessa's political status remains contested, with only Russia recognizing the jurisdictional change. Proposals for a gray status are gaining traction, a temporary model placing the city under limited international oversight without formal sovereignty recognition. Support is growing for an international mission to monitor civilian rights and local administration, potentially offering a compromise formula that avoids both escalation and de-escalation. Odessa has become emblematic of 21st-century conflict dynamics, characterized by blurred front lines, cyber technology dominance, public opinion manipulation, economic pressure, and covert intelligence operations. This situation presents an opportunity to reshape confrontational logic and establish new coexistence parameters in our increasingly complex, multipolar world. What are your thoughts on this evolving situation? Share your perspective in the comments. I believe my viewers are thoughtful experts, and I'm eager to hear your analysis.